excited and forget to do that. Tonight, guys, I know a lot of you have been waiting to hear from Kacia. If you aren't following her on social media, I was just telling, I don't know who I was just telling, but she's a social media rock star. Like, oh, I was on a Zoom right before this, that's why. And I'm like, I want her skills. Like, she's just great at portraying her life, and you like want to follow her, and you want to see everything that she's about, and you want to be her, you want to be on her team, because her social media is really just that incredible. And Kacia, you are an 8-star, is that correct?
In my first business center, yes.
8-star diamond coach. Okay, awesome. And then second business center?
I've personally sponsored 4 diamonds in there.
Awesome. And 2-time elite?
1 time.
1-time elite. Okay, awesome. So she's on her second year of elite, 8-star diamond coach, 4 diamonds in her second business center. And I'm just going to let her take it away and share all the details that she's bringing to you guys tonight. I'm so pumped up for this call because I need to learn from her. And you know, I'm always saying, like, leaders are always learning. They're always learning. You're always going to be learning from everyone. If you stop learning, you stop growing, and you're truly not leading by example. So I'm so excited to have her so that I get to learn from her tonight. So it's kind of a selfish reasoning, but I'm so excited that we all get to learn from her.
Yay. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be with you guys tonight. So I'm Kacia, as Christy said, and I wanted to give you guys a little bit of background about me before we just kind of get started into 2 things that I really wanted to talk with you guys about, which is mindset in this business, turning into kind of like inviting through social media. So for a tiny bit of background about me, I ran my first challenge group in January 2014. So I've been a coach coming up on 3 years in January. The first 6 months, I would consider myself a hobby coach. I didn't really catch on to like the vision with Beachbody. So my upline coach is Birgitta Linford. I actually like have a weird story of kind of how I met her. I was following her randomly on Instagram. I had never even heard of Beachbody. I didn't know what Beachbody coaching was. I didn't know it was like a real thing. I just liked the quotes that she posted on Instagram. So I went to order P90X because I was working in the corporate world. I was in a sales type of role, going to happy hours with clients and just like gaining a bunch of weight, and just kind of to this point where I'm like, I'm going to do P90X because I saw it on an infomercial and I heard it was really hard. And I thought that is the program that I'm going to do. So I ordered that program, and I put my now coach, Birgitta, as my coach when I ordered through the website without ever talking to her, without ever connecting with her on Facebook or anything. I thought it was something where like, I knew that she was involved with Beachbody, but I thought that like maybe she would get a commission for my order. I had no idea how the structure worked. So there's not a lot of like Kacia Fitzgerald on Facebook. So I, reached out to her, and I connected with her, and she asked me to be in one of her challenge groups. And I said no, because I was like, I don't even know her. This is super weird that she's asking me to be in her challenge group, which, so for when people tell you no, like often they come back around. So she reached out to me, asked me to be in one of her challenge groups. I said no, I was going to do it on my own. I got to day 4 of P90X. And it was 90 minutes of yoga for anyone that's done it. And I was like, this is way too freaking long for me. I'm not doing this. I'm going to quit. A couple weeks later, I reached back out to her again. And I was like, all right, whatever you're doing, like maybe that will actually work. Because I was kind of following her on social media and creeping. She was the only coach that I knew. I didn't have any friends or neighbors or anything that were coaching. And so I joined one of her challenge groups. She explained to me about Shakeology and was basically like, yeah, you can sign up as a discount coach if you want to get a discount. And I thought, who wouldn't do that? I had no idea, you guys, like what I was doing. Signed up as a discount coach and told her, don't ever talk to me about building the business. I love my job. I was an IT project manager at the time. I was like, I'm not really interested in, doing anything with this business. Good for you, but like, that's not for me. And I joined her group and I fell in love with it. It took me a couple of months to decide that I would actually run a group. I thought a lot of the things that a lot of us think, I don't have social media background. I don't know how to build a business. I have a great career. This isn't a quote unquote real job. People are going to think I'm really weird. I don't have a 6-pack abs. Like people are not going to like connect with me. Why would I be a health coach? Like this makes no sense. Until I realized, you know what? If I'm having fun and I enjoy this, why not pay it forward to other people? So I ran my first group in January 2014. The biggest kick my business, I think, that really took it to the next level. Like, I went diamond pretty quickly just because I kind of thought that was what you were supposed to do. I didn't really understand the structure of it. I went to Summit. I saw my upline coach and another coach in the network, Christina Delgado, speak at Summit. She had been a partner in a law firm, and she quit that job because she felt like she was missing moments with her kids. And I sat there thinking, oh my gosh, like, that's going to be me with the career trajectory that I have, working this many hours and managing a team. And like, is that what I really want? And I started to second guess myself. And my boyfriend, Cena, and I were like, all right, we're all in. We're going to make this happen. It doesn't matter how long it takes. We moved from Seattle to New York City. I got a job at Google. My boyfriend's a full-time student at NYU Dental in his third year of school. And this business supports both of us now. I left my corporate job 8 months after Summit, after surpassing my income. And now I've been a full-time coach for almost 2 years in April 2015. So crazy ride. The reason I give you guys the backstory on that is because I actually don't really think that you start this business when you start this business. So technically, I signed up as a coach September of 2013, but I was a challenger and I focused on myself and I got comfortable with myself. And then I thought of this as a side hobby. So often it's the fitness that's going to bring people in, right? That's going to be the vehicle that's bringing people into this business. And then they're going to have their own journey. It's going to be really different for every single person. But I think the mindset of when you decide that you're going to do this to whatever your decision on what success looks like for you is, that's when everything happens. And for me, that was 6 months into my business in June of 2014. And I decided no matter what it takes, I'm going to build this business so that this can be my full-time job and I can help other girls like me build this kind of lifestyle because I caught on to it. So it didn't happen for me when I signed up. It happened for me 6 months into building this, which was 9 months after I signed up as a coach. But I think one thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about before I talk to you about social media is that the hard part is deciding, right? But if you get really crystal clear on what you actually want in this business, even if it sounds kind of scary or it doesn't make sense to people around you, but you understand that vision, not just like, oh, I want to help people, or, oh, I want to, make $100 a week. Why do you want to make $100 a week? Or why do you want this to be your full-time job? Or why do you want to pay off your debt? Or what's it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? And get so dang crystal clear on what it is that you want and why, because you have to be able to tap into that whenever things get hard. And Christy can attest to this, and anyone that's had tenure in the business, like, there are times that it's really hard. Like, it's the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done in my entire life, but there's times when it's hard. Some months are harder and life gets crazy, but it's so often that people put the Beachbody on the back burner. It's the easiest thing to go because you don't have a boss breathing down your neck asking you, did you post on Facebook today? I guarantee you Christy's not messaging all of you like, hey guys, did you post on Facebook? Are you going to do your invites like every single day? Like, she's not going to do that. She's not your manager. And none of us are. So it's so easy for this to be the first thing to go. But what I've found with coaches in my downline that have been really successful in this business is they're able to understand a deep-rooted why of what their life can look like or feel like, or what this business can help provide them as they're providing so much value to other people, that they're so connected that even when life gets crazy, it's not the first thing to go. In fact, it's something that they're always staying consistent with. And you guys, hear us talk about this all the time, where it's like consistency is the secret sauce. Like, I'm not going to tell you something today. Hopefully I can give you some tips, but I'm not going to tell you something that's going to change the entire trajectory of your business. It's going to be the fact that you're going to decide what it is of why you want to be here, and you're going to show up every single day to stay consistent with it so that it can build. Because it's not something where overnight all of a sudden it's going to explode. It's those tiny little things. You guys hear this all the time, the compound effect, but those tiny little things that are so easy to do and so easy not to do. The difference between if you reach your goals or not is if you just decide to do them. And I think a lot of times people just miss that vision part where they have the goal, like they get to the goal, but they can't really visualize everything of what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, what it's going to feel like to the people around you. What's it going to feel like in your marriage if you don't have, however much debt weighing on your shoulders? What's it going to feel like to your kids when you can go part-time at your job or give up one of your second job and be present in their school or whatever it is? I don't know what it is for you. But for me, I was like, this is going to be awesome when I can spend time with my number one person with his crazy school schedule and I don't have a corporate job that I'm answering to. And it wasn't because I was anti-corporate or anything like that. I just saw the vision of what this could look like. So it didn't matter if it was hard. I was going to do it anyway. And so whether you've been a coach for a week, a day, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, it doesn't really matter. I really think you start when you just decide and you start moving the ball forward. So I think a big thing that, is super important and kind of doesn't really transition well, but I just really want to always talk about that whole vision part, because if you can get really comfortable visualizing, not just your goals, like I said, goals are great, but vision is so much better because your team can understand the vision of where you're going. If you don't have a large team yet, pretend like you do, right? If you have this crystal clear vision that's like, this is what it's going to be like, jump on board my train or don't. I tell my team all the time, our biggest goal right now is to pay off my boyfriend's $300,000 in student loans that he's acquiring during NYU Dental before he graduates. So after 12 years together at that point, we can get married and have no debt. And I know exactly what I'm going to wear. This red TBD, haven't bought it yet, cutout dress. And I have coaches in my downline that will text me pictures when they see people in red cutout dresses because they know my vision. So if you're able to know your vision of your goals, that's step one, because then you can stay consistent in your business. But mechanically, how do you actually do that so that you can attract the right people into your business that want to get on board your train, that understand what you're doing and like they vibe with you and it's like, I got you, girl, I get you. You want those people, right, that you can totally connect with. So for me, one thing that I was really nervous to do when I transitioned into like how I post on social media, I used to talk to the masses. I want to help everyone. I want everyone to join my challenge group. I want, like, who wants to sign up for my group? Like, let's all get healthy and fit. There's nothing wrong with wanting to help everyone. In fact, if you don't want to help people, I honestly think, and I think Christy would agree with me on this, you should probably just quit right now because you're going to be a really crappy coach if you don't want to help people. Of course, we want to help people. That's a big reason that we're all here. But focus in on who is it specifically that you're really passionate about helping. And for me, it's the girls like who I was when I first started Beachbody, which are corporate hustling, mid to late 20-something girls who are putting themselves on the back burner and they're trying to climb the corporate ladder. And I think about all the things that they're nervous about. This is the biggest thing that's helped me with social media is instead of casting far and wide, I'm narrowing in and niching a lot more, talking to specific people in my posts because I want them to connect with me. I want them to understand my verbiage. I want to be ridiculously authentic. The way that I'm going to message them behind, in my Facebook messages is going to be the same way that I'm going to talk to them publicly on social media. And it's going to be the same way that I'm talking to you guys, or I would talk to my girlfriends or my boyfriend, because I'm going to be so authentic to myself that I know and I trust and I believe that with the consistency and the vision, the right people are going to come into my business and honestly in my life and stay. But how do you know who those people are? I think you have to do a little bit of a self-inventory. You need to think about what are the things that I'm interested in? What are the things that I'm passionate about? What are the things that are the most important things to me? And that's how you decide what you're going to post about on social media. I hate to break it to you. You got to talk about your workouts, obviously. But if you are posting every single day a sweaty selfie of like, killing it, killed my workout, day one, blah, blah, done, every single day, like no one knows anything about you. Because like, yeah, maybe they know you're into fitness, but like, what are your struggles in your life? Like what's important to you? Is your family important to you? Do you like to travel? Do you have like an obsession with like pug dogs, or do you like to knit? Like, I don't know what your thing is, but figure out what your things are and make sure that you're rotating through those things on social media, because people don't just want to see you as a ninja, a Beachbody ninja, or in a worst case scenario, a Beachbody spam artist where it's just Beachbody, Beachbody, Beachbody. People want to know other aspects of your life too, because they want to feel like they can get to know you, especially through social media, because you come off so much more authentic when you're talking about the highs and lows. When you're going through something that's a struggle and you're pulling out teachable moments that you can use to serve your audience. But if you don't know yourself, it's hard to do that, right? So start with the basics. If I were in this situation where I'm like trying to figure out what I want to post on social media, I would be making a list of like, what are the top 5 to 10 things that are the most important to me in my life? And then I'm just going to rotate through them. When we first moved to New York, I was working a full-time corporate job at Google. And I worked a ton of hours, like 50 or 60 hours a week. So I was never working on my business when I was at work. So Sunday nights, this is not glamorous, but Sunday nights I would sit on my couch and I would look at my week. I would say like, what commitments do I have after work? what commitments to my boyfriend and I have to do. And I would look at the things that I was going to post about on social media, and I would basically have a theme for each day where I'd be like, okay, I need to talk about something workout in the morning and something about food in the afternoon. And then I like New York, so I'm going to talk about, I live in New York, I'm going to talk about New York and Tuesday morning, and then Tuesday night I'm going to talk about my dog or whatever, you know, and I would actually break it down like that. And that really helped me, because if you think about it, if you've got a big goal with this business, a big company would have a marketing plan, right? Like they would have an entire marketing department if they were a company. So you got to figure out like what you're going to actually talk about. Now that I'm full-time, I do it a little bit differently, but that's what I did when I was working full-time. I really thought about like my plan, and I went into each week with a plan, and I took it week by week with my blinders on. I didn't look at Christy Krosner's or other coaches that were doing different things different than me. I looked at what my plan was, and I knew who I was talking to. I was talking to the people that could connect with me, authentic Kacia, how I am, right? Like that was what I was going to talk about. And I thought about all the time, what are the people that are watching me right now? What are they most concerned about? I guarantee you they are concerned with the same things that I was concerned about. So they're concerned that they're going to look stupid building a business on social media when they don't know how to build a business. They're concerned with what their friends are going to think about them, like doing this weird like beach body thing. Like, what is like this MLM weird thing? They're concerned about that. They're concerned that they don't have a six-pack abs. They're concerned that they don't have time. So those are the things that I talk about now, even now in my posts all the time. I talk about the things that I think my target market, which is the girls that I was when I first started this business, is worried about. So they're worried about time. So I need to make sure that I'm talking about how convenient this is. So I was attracted to Shakeology. I didn't know anything about the nutrition in it. I just liked the fact that it was like easy. So I talk about simplicity and like being on the go. And I talk about how convenient it is to be able to like work out in my living room versus like having to drive to the gym and like come back. Like I'm not going to do that. Or when I talk about Shakeology, it's like, I'm not going to go find goji berries like in the jungle and ground them up. Like thankfully I have this Beachbody like magic protein. That's the way that I talk about Shakeology, because that's the way that I think about it. And that's a lot of the people that I'm attracting into my business totally get me, because I'm not trying to make it all sunshine and rainbows. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about their objections. And one thing that I tell my team often that really helps a lot of us is when you're getting an objection, that's awesome, because that's good post content. Take that objection and turn it into an actual post. Like, so if someone's like, I would love to do this business, but I just don't really feel like I like have the time to build a business like this. It's cool what you're doing, Kacia, but I don't have enough time to build a business like that. I will then the next day post a post about the fact that I thought I didn't have time, because I didn't think I had time. I talk all the time about how I didn't think this was a quote unquote real job. Even though I've been doing this almost full time for almost 2 years, I still talk about that, because that's what the people that first started with the business or that are looking at me now are thinking, right? So always talking to those objections and always honing in on who it is that you specifically want to help. It's a hard adjustment to make, because you think that you're going to reach more people if you go more wide. But when people feel like you're talking to them, that's the secret sauce, right? So like a lot of times in my public posts, like if we're friends on Facebook or whatever, I say like girl in my post, or I say like, hey girl, or girl like me, or I say like girls, you know what I'm talking about, or like I'm saying the same kind of verbiage that I would say if you and I were sitting together, like drinking a glass of wine, chatting about life. I talk that same way on Facebook. And I think a lot of us are scared to do that because we think we might turn someone off. But in reality, I get messages from people that are like, all right, I want to join whatever you're doing. Like, I don't even know what you're doing, but let's do it together because I feel like you get me. And these are people that I'm connecting with on social media, right? So they actually feel like they know me as a person before I get to know them. And then it becomes more of an attraction marketing business. Of course you have to do the invites. Like, you can't just visualize and like your business falls into your lap. You have to do the work. But if you're able to match that consistency where like when you're messaging, when you add new friends and you send them a message and you send them an invite, you use the same dialect that you do publicly on Facebook. And you're talking about objections and you're talking about the things that you were worried about before you became a coach. That's going to make a big, nice painted picture for everyone to understand you and understand, okay, humor me this, all of you that I can see. When you were first invited to be a coach, did you say yes? Raise your hand. Chrissy did. Okay. Wow, there's 3 of you. Okay. So 3 people said yes out of everyone that's on this call. I know I didn't say yes. That was not my jam. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Most people don't say yes when they're invited at first, right? So most of you had some hesitations before you signed up as a coach. Even if you said yes, you probably had hesitations. You probably had objections. So think about that person, because a lot of times one thing that I think we all, and I'm guilty of this too, we get so pumped about Beachbody because we love it and we're like, give me all the yellows, and like we have all this insider jargon, and we forget that people outside of Beachbody like look at this as like a really weird thing that they don't quite understand. So also using the fact that they don't know why you're so passionate and they don't understand that you were hesitant, and now that you're on this team and you see this community and you're getting these results, and like you thought the shake was expensive too, but now you're drinking it and you're like, my digestion's amazing, my hair is growing, all of this stuff. I think it's really important that you think about that part, and you think about the fact that if you're always talking about it being rainbows and butterflies and sunshine and unicorns coming out of your butt dang day, that's not realistic. And then people are even more nervous because it's like, oh, she's like making money and she's helping people and she's always smiling and taking selfies and like her hair looks perfect and she uses filter. It's like, come on guys, like Facebook is more than ever busy. Does that mean that there's not people? You're crazy if you think that. No way. There's tons of people to help. There's millions of people that need you that won't connect with Christy. They won't connect with me, but they'll connect with you because you're the perfect person for them. You've got to believe that. But also, don't be afraid to talk about the things that you were nervous about at first, because that builds more credibility. You're a real human when you messed up your workout. You're a real human when you're posting 10 p.m. you did your workout that you had planned at 7 a.m., but life got crazy. Don't be afraid to be that person, because I honestly think that it will help serve you in your business. And embrace the mess and just know that you're the only person. And it's so Dr. Seussy that like you're the only you there will ever be. But for real, like you are a coach with the tools and skills and platform. Like this is not about Beachbody coaching. This is not about slaying challenge packs. This is about that you have the tools, resources, and platform to change so many people's lives that are waiting on you to ask them and are waiting on you to get more and more comfortable every dang day with being yourself so that they can get to know you better and connect with you, and then you can help serve them. And in turn, yeah, your business, your rank, all that other crap, that will happen, but you will get to serve them and you have a gift to pay forward. And when you think about it that way, inviting isn't scary anymore. Posting on Facebook isn't scary anymore. I'm not scared to post a selfie. I'm like, I don't care if it's 3 likes or 100 likes. It doesn't matter to me anymore, because I'm like, I have a huge blessing to pay forward, and it's selfish if I don't. So when you think about it that way, it's like when I'm inviting to my challenge group, I'm like, I'm inviting you to my party. I hope you come because you're going to love it and it's going to be awesome. If you don't come, that's okay. You'll come back around. So part of that comes with time, but hopefully you guys can just understand that you have every possible resource and everything that you could need to be successful in this business. The better that you get at being you on social media and sticking with it through the ups, downs, the in-betweens, you're going to have the craziest business, and you're going to do what I do all the time, which is ugly cry awkwardly to like everyone that I see. So I hope that for you, and if I can ever help you in any way, or you guys have any questions, I'm happy to help. I know I get really long-winded, so I'm like, I'll start sweating and like dropping truth bombs and things will get weird.
Awesome. Definitely. I know there's people on here that definitely have questions. So, guys, if you have any questions, unmute yourself or type in the chat.
I'll start.
I love your enthusiasm.
Hi. Okay, so tell me first, you say Kacia?
Yeah.
Kacia, okay.
Yeah.
So how do you find the words that come out of your mouth?
How do I find them?
Yes.
How I would just how I would talk to a girlfriend. So I visualize the person that I'm talking to. So is it Tanya?
Yes.
Tanya. Okay. So your best girlfriend, like whatever her name is, whatever like the characteristics of her. Like I actually think about
We just cuss a lot.
Okay, perfect. So, you think of that person that you're talking to, and you're only talking to that person. So you're not worried about the other people. For me, it's like I'm talking to 25 to 35-year-old females who are in long-term relationships. They're newly married, working corporate jobs, putting themselves on the back burner. They like wine. They like fitness. They're probably not they don't know a lot about macros, but they know that they can probably get down a 21-day fix if it's in their living room, and they like Shakeology because it's convenient, and they doubt themselves. Like, I know so much about my target market because it's who I was when I first started. And it's who I want to be best friends with because I get that girl, because that girl's me. So making a list of those things and really thinking about like, who is that person? And you're only that makes it so much easier because you're only talking to that person. If you were to go through my timeline right now and like scroll through it, like feel free to do it. I'm not perfect, you know, like I'll post a post, I'm like, whatever. But I do try and talk to a person. Often I'm really trying to like use particular verbiage. Like one of our, a good friend of ours, my boyfriend Sina and I have a good friend who's mother-daughter. The mom is 55 and the daughter's 25. And Julie, the mom, was telling me, Kacia, I love following you on social media, but I really feel like sometimes I don't know what you're talking about. And the daughter, who's 25, said, Kacia, I feel like you're talking to me in all of your posts. So to me, that's a signal that's like, sweet. Okay, I'm talking about top knots and J-beebs and like hashtag like weird stuff, like because she gets that, because that's the kind of verbiage that I speak in. If you were my best friend and Tanya, you and I were sitting across each other, like drinking a bottle of wine, I would be like, girl, oh my gosh, I love your Bessie bun. Like, you're so cute. How'd you get your side braid? Like, I say that stuff on Facebook because that's how I would talk to you in real life. So think of your best friend and think of that like an avatar or that ideal person that you would want on your team, and use the same dialect and jargon that you would use to them. And then put it publicly. Because again, like I said, it's nerve-wracking. When I made that transition, my business took off because I wasn't putting out like, join me, here's my stock ad. Here's me, like, come be in my group, everyone, I want everyone. But instead I was like, I'm looking for girls who are between, like, you know, I would say specifically who struggle with this, and this is the thing that they notice the most about, and they want something convenient. They want to feel like saucy badasses. Like, I say stuff like that publicly because that's how I talk. So don't be afraid to be you. And in fact, the better that you get at being you, I honestly think I believe it serves you in your life more, but also it serves you in this business because people know you're right for them, you know?
Okay.
You do you, Boo. That's what I would say.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so you talked a lot about like on Sunday, or you didn't, I guess on Sunday you sat down and you wrote out your posts or a thought-provoking kind of topic.
Yep.
So my question is, I'm like the old you, basically. I like work at an advertising agency, like all that stuff. Like that's my life. So basically I'm trying to get better at like kind of scheduling out my life. But the question I have is, did you go out and like take pictures on a Sunday, or did you have like a photo shoot? Like how did you kind of get around that, you know?
Yeah. So at first I was really uncomfortable with that, like thinking about being proactive because I want to be really authentic. That's so important to me. But I didn't have the time to go take selfies random. Sometimes I just didn't have the time. So I would think about the week. So Emily, if I were you, I would sit down and be like, okay, what are 7 to 10 things that I'm interested in? Like, obviously you have to talk about Beachbody. Otherwise, how is anyone going to know you're a coach? Obviously you have to talk about fitness. Obviously you have to talk about food because that's add value stuff. But think about the other things that are important to you. Like if you are really interested in personal development, or if you're really interested in like fall colors and photography, whatever. And just kind of mapped out for the week, like what I wanted to talk about. So I wasn't just talking about the same things every day. That's what I mean by that, which means sometimes I would be using pictures that I took and I would write a post proactively that I knew I was going to post the next day, you know? But I wouldn't do it all on Sunday. Like, and if something happened to me in my life, like I live in New York City, so a lot of random, really weird stuff happens to me. So I would take a picture and that would be like what I would post about. And I would save the post that I had in my head that was written in the note or written out in the notes section of my phone. I would save that for another time.
Yeah.
So part of it is, I have girls on my team that like just save selfies in their phone. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I do think just having some type of mapped out plan, because your business is not going to build from you having perfect social media posts.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of like inviting through social media is honestly, that is not what's going to build your business. Most of my business is still, 2.5, almost 3 years into this business is built from the relationships. Like I want to serve people. I want to talk to people. I really give a crap about talking to people, but I want them to know me so they feel comfortable enough that I'll break the ice with that initial friend request and that message. but they know me enough that they trust me because I'm being authentic and I'm sharing different parts of my life that they feel like they get me. So when the message behind the closed doors, if you feel like you're spending a ton of time on your Facebook posts, set a timer on your phone, and get better at that. And that will just come with time. Like, give yourself grace to learn as you go, but set a reminder in your phone or set like a 5-minute timer. And if it takes you longer than 5 minutes, make it 2 sentences and just post it, and worry about Beachbody message, like non-Beachbody messages, connecting with new people and doing invites, because that will build your business more than worrying about being perfect at social media. That comes with time, honestly. But what I did on Sunday was kind of look at my week and be proactive about it, which also meant I blocked out chunks of time to work on my business, where I'm like, okay, I have a happy hour for work, and then we have to be at this event. I'm getting home at 11 p.m. Looks like my power hour is going to be from 11 to 12:30 at night. Crap. And I'm going to be doing it in the morning. Well, that sucks, but that's my Wednesday, because like I said at the beginning, I was so clear on that vision.
Sorry to ask one more question. I'm sorry. So when you're working your full-time job, like, how many conversations would you say that you were starting a day, and like, how did you keep up with it? Like, that is like the struggle.
People ask me that all the time, like, how many invites did you do, until I was reaching my goals. Sometimes it would be like 20 invites and I would sell 10 challenge packs. Sometimes it would be like 100. Like, I can't answer that question. I think you find what's manageable. The best advice that I could give you, and everyone's going to have a different opinion about this, but for me, the best possible advice that I can give you is to find what's sustainable, to be consistent, that feels fun for you. So you are full of joy and you're super freaking pumped, but you're doing the work. So for me, it was like, I was like sending out 5 Hey Girl messages, and I was touching base with, what was I doing? I was doing 3 invites. Like, I had a minimum, and then I would do extra if I had extra time, but it was the minimum of what I did. Like, my non-negotiable, and people say non-negotiables, but like, it was actually not negotiable. Like, I had to do it. And I was doing that every single day. So find what that looks like for you, Emily, because that's going to look different than it looks for Carrie, or looks for Courtney, or looks for me, or looks for Christy. Find what it's manageable for you, but find something and stay consistent. If that would be the best advice that I could give you. And then on days that you feel super pumped, like, use that energy. You're a business owner. You're a CEO. You have a crazy opportunity to get out of the advertising industry if that's what you want to do, and blow this thing up. So use the time that you feel super pumped and do more, but stick with what you can manage consistently over time. I like your vicious head nod.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm like super awkward and like muted and be like,
You're not awkward at all. You're not awkward at all. Anyone else?
Any more questions? We were all saying we wanted to join your party. When we follow you on social media, we want to join your party.
Join my party, yeah. How many friends?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, okay, since you're, like, I heard you're, like, the queen of Facebook and whatnot, and you're telling us about it, which is awesome. What would you say, like, because I'm more of an Instagram person, so how do I translate that towards Facebook? How do I talk differently?
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, absolutely. I think I like Instagram and Facebook. I never really like built up a like page. I use my personal page and Instagram pretty much exclusively. I wouldn't say I'm the queen of Facebook or the queen of Instagram. I just think what I've gotten good at is just talking to that particular person. So on your Instagram, for me on Instagram, I post similar content to what I post on Facebook. Sometimes prettier stuff goes on Instagram too and doesn't go on Facebook, but a lot of times it's the same. I don't really have a strategy. I throw a white quote in every 5 pictures because I think it looks visually pretty. But I find a lot of people that I connect with through Instagram. And then I try and add them to Facebook because I share more about my life on Facebook than I do on Instagram. But Instagram, Courtney, for you, that's a huge advantage because you can post more often and it's not as weird, in my opinion. On Instagram. So go back to the same thing that Emily and I were just chatting about, of like, in terms of find your 5 to 7 things or whatever it is and post about those things consistently. I would do the same thing, just the content will be different in terms of it will need to probably be a little bit shorter. But other than that, and a lot of people have different opinions about this. I'm not someone that has I have like 3,000 followers on Instagram. I'm not like a huge like Instagram person, but I find a majority of my people through Instagram that I've then added on Facebook to my personal page so that I can continue the conversation, because I like to do voice messages. because I think they can see my vocal variety and inflection and all of that and get to know me a little bit better when I'm talking with them about the programs and stuff. So I want them, my goal is to get them on Instagram because they're totally not connected to me, connect with them because I think that we would actually be friends in real life, and then get them to add me on Facebook on my personal page. Hey girls, shoot me a friend request. You're so cute. I'd love to be like friends with you on Facebook. And I say that's verbatim what I would say because that's what I would think. And then they add me on Facebook. And then I can have the conversation there, like with voice message or whatever. Right. So don't be afraid to use, yes, everyone talks about Facebook's algorithms and blah, blah. I don't care about Facebook's algorithms because I'm going to do me and I'm going to find the right people and I trust that. So if you like Instagram, Instagram can be your main thing. There's no right or wrong way to do this in my opinion. But if you can bring those people to Facebook, you can have that more personal conversation over voice message if you're comfortable doing that. That makes it easier for them to connect with you quicker, in my opinion.
Yep. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay, get it, girl.
I have a quick question. Well,
yeah.
Only 2 minutes left. So when you say like talk like you're talking to my best friend, I don't talk to anybody like I talk to my best friend. Like she's crazy, right? Like if I talk to other people that way, they'd be like, "Oh my god," because we're super.
Oh, you muted yourself.
Sorry. And so we're super sarcastic with each other. If I talk like that on Facebook, I'd probably like I don't know that it would fit me. Like I'm a mom. I'm supposed to be like all wholesome and stuff. I'm totally not.
Honestly, I would disagree. I think you do you. Like, I mean, maybe you don't say things that are going to offend people or be inappropriate. I don't know, like, what you mean by that, Jessica, but I think the more authentic that you can be, the better, you know? And maybe, like, I mean, there's things that I would say to my best friend that I wouldn't say on social media, but, like, find what it is that's comfortable of how you would talk to someone that you really care about and talk to them on social media, the person that you were when you first started, you know? Just don't be afraid that, like, you don't have to be wholesome. You can be you. And that's going to attract more people into your business that get you and vibe with you and connect with you, you know?
Gotcha. I see.
You got this.
Yeah. As a mom, some days I want to just rip my hair out and drink a lot of wine. So,
but
I don't want to be negative.
Talk about that. Do your workout and talk about wanting to rip your hair out. I would want to follow you if you did. You know, but do your workout still and talk about that.
I do.
Awesome. I know there's like.
I just need a kid so that I can talk about wanting to rip my hair out because I'm like I don't have that. I'm not relatable anymore. Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been incredible. I know they all were just so excited to learn from you. I'm sorry that more people didn't show up. That was my fault because I didn't get the Zoom link out. But we appreciate your time, and it's going to cut out here any second.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for all the tips. I even wrote things down. I have lots of room to improve on social media, so thank you. I'll be implementing.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.